7th of June, Rabbi Furst, Avos.
Good morning, Luke. Good morning, Mayor.
Good morning, Rabbi Furst. Good morning, Meir.
Shalom to everyone. Good morning. This is Rabbi Shlomo Furst Yeshiva Tzalman here at Yerushalayim here of Zoom. We're learning our explanation of Ruth's conversion according to the ways of the Tzitzi Elazar. I'll put that on screen and we can continue on with that. Let's see here. Okay. Okay. See where the ball is. The paragraph. We're starting today with the paragraph that says "V'chein doiche sham mi sherotza gam lefaris bein l'Rashi bein la'ben ha'ezer." Okay. Yeah. Who would like to read, Lou or Mayor? Who would like to?
Let's see. Okay, I'll read.
Okay.
Let's see.
Good morning, Roy.
Good morning, Rabbi Furst. Good morning, everybody.
Thank you for sending the article. I received that. I'm starting to read it slowly but surely. Bezos Hashem, we'll get through it. Thank you. Appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Okay.
Yeah, I read.
Thank you, Roy. That was good. I read it.
Barry, good morning. Good. How are you doing, Barry?
Yeah, that was very interesting what Roy sent.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, v'chach.
V'chein, one paragraph up of what? V'chein doicha. I think that's where we are, no?
Oh, chen doche. Shame.
Sham, that's Sham.
Sham.
Over there. Meaning this is still referring, I think there's still reference to the previous, the Sefer Sharash Ishai, Al Megillus Esther. He's still referring to that Sefer in that commentary. So over there in that Sefer, he further is Doicha, meaning he's refuting. Doicha means he's refuting.
Mi she'rotze gam the farash bein Rashi the is this the Ibn Ezra?
Right, exactly, very good.
And the Ibn Ezra. So he's refuting over there. I guess what both the explanation of Rashi and the Ibn Ezra.
Well, he's refuting those who are going to explain either according to Rashi or according to the Ibn Ezra the following, but he's going to refute these opinions.
Villamar, and they say she nish om be'isor v'akar kach gerus. What is this word? Venish om? Shanish mom?
In these some that they married Be'isr, meaning there are those who want to say, right? There are those who want to say, whether it's in Rashi's opinion, whether it's according to the Ibn Ezra's opinion, that Ruth and Orpah were married Be'isr. They were married illegally. And that was before and afterwards, they were misguided. They were converted afterwards. So there is such an opinion that that's what happened. And this Sefer, Sharash Ben Ishai, is refuting that opinion.
Okay. v'ha'ad.
I'm sorry, Ravi, could you repeat that opinion again?
Yeah. It's an opinion that Ruth was married illegally, and sometime later she was misguided, right? Whether or not you'll say that that opinion, according to Rashi or the Ibn Ezer, doesn't matter. It that the original marriage was illegal, and there was a conversion later on, and so we're going to see that there's a opinion that refutes this idea. We'll see what he means. Well, we'll see. Give him a chance. See what he means.
So it's Rashi's opinion that agrees with Rabbi Elazar that they were married in Moab.
I think they all agree that they were married in Moab. That the pasuk itself says before us, right?
I mean, I'm talking about legally married. You know, that they were Megayer and et cetera, and they had a kosher.
Like, well, let's see what he says. Let's see how he develops the thought. Hold on.
Okay, what is this word v'ha'ad?
I think aid. I mean, the proof is, the testimony is, the evidence is.
Ki rus Toras Yavama. Since Ruth comes under the law of the Yavama, Nasa le Boaz, and married Boaz.
So the this opinion is attempting to bring the proof to this opinion based on the fact that they're understanding that Ruth was involved with Boaz through whatever it's a mitzvah or something to do with Yibum. Okay, and Yibum, we'll see. Let's see how he develops it.
Okay, so in other words, since we see that Ruth marries Boaz through Yibum, therefore it must be that she was married legally. The Docha Zos, and the refutation of this, and this is the refutation. Ki ad mochechesh hu ve'ein kan yibum. What is this word mochechesh?
The evidence is the evidence itself is a refutation.
So mochechesh, it means evidence.
Is contradictory. Muchash is to contradict. The evidence is the contradiction.
Okay, so Ein Kan Yibum, and this is not Yibum. Ki Boaz umachlon lo hayu achim, because they're not brothers. Boaz and Machlon are not brothers.
Right. So whatever Boaz was doing with Ruth, you cannot suggest it had anything to do with the laws of Yibum, because that's only a relationship based on being a brother.
Aval hayu shnei bishnei ayin sham, but there are two with two.
Yeah, Aval hayu sheni b'sheni ayin sham. I think that's a meaning they were like distant relatives. I think that's another way of saying they were distant relatives.
Ah. Okay, and Ayin Sham means what? Look over there to see what the relationship was.
How he explains the relationship. Yeah.
Okay. Vayavin.
Masha Kasav Od, and look over there what he writes further.
look over there and see what the Torah wrote further there. And what is the abbreviation?
Al hapasuk on the verse.
On the verse, V'tomar hine sheva yivmatecha al amah the go ayin sham.
That's the pasuk. That's what Naomi said to Ruth. Said, look, your sister-in-law has returned to her people.
Uh-huh. Okay. Okay, so I lost the flow.
So you see, since it says she was her sister-in-law returned to her people, right? That's he explains on that fact that you see that the relationship between Boaz and Ruth was not based on the fact that Machlon was a brother of Boaz.
I'm sorry, I'm not following that. What's the proof?
Me either.
Says that if you take a look in what he writes over there on the pasuk, that Ruth was told by Naomi, look, your sister-in-law has returned to her people, right? That shows that Naomi understood that they were considered to be married, number one, right? They were considered to be married. And nevertheless, the relationship between Ruth and Boaz was not based on the fact that her husband, Machlon, was a brother to Boaz.
Wait a second. Why do you say that telling Ruth to go back shows that she considered them married?
She didn't tell her to go back. This pasuk is, she said, look, your sister-in-law has gone back to her people.
Oh, because she calls her a sister-in-law.
Exactly, that's right. That's right.
Oh. Okay, so if we say that because she called her the sister-in-law, therefore she considered Ruth to have been married to Machlon,
Right.
then why would we now say that it's not Yibum?
Because the relationship between Machlon, right, and his brother Kilyon would be a relationship of Yibum, but not Boaz. Boaz is not related to Ruth in that way, because Boaz was not related to Machlon in a brotherly fashion.
Wouldn't that whole idea mean that when one of the brothers died, that the other one married Ruth? In other words, Ruth was married to both brothers at a certain point.
It depends if they were alive at the same. I'm not sure if there was a time span. I don't know.
Well, the brothers didn't die simultaneously.
I don't know. I have no idea.
But I'm saying, but if it was the case that one brother predeceased the other, died before the other, then they would have had Yibum.
It would have been
It would have been necessary, right?
Apparently, yeah. I mean, if they were married, if they weren't Jewish, there's no need of doing Yibum for non-Jew. Apparently, don't know.
Okay, but I'm still confused about this conclusion. We know independently of anything that's being revealed to us at this time in this discussion that that Machlon and Boaz were not brothers. That's a known fact that we've always known. So why is that being brought up now?
He's pointing that out because then you understand what Boaz did to Ruth was not an actual Yibum. There was no Yibum involved here, because Yibum can only be done with brothers. So you can't bring a proof from that fact that Ruth was, even if she was married legally, it wouldn't make a difference in terms of Yibum, because there could be no Yibum here.
Okay, all right, V'od lo lahasharesh.
Yishai. That's the Sefer he's quoting. He's quoting with the Shorish Yishai, the Shorish Yishai.
Oh, okay, so furthermore, in the Sharesh Yishai,
Al Pasuk v'yikach asar anoshim, on the Pasuk where Boaz takes the 10 people for the Sanhedrin.
okay, she mivar be'arichos anin hageula she nizkara. No, I'm not, there's too many words or I don't know.
So he says what he said there, that when the Pasuk says that Boaz took the 10 people for the Sanhedrin, right, that he explains there at length the Indian of what is this whole Indian that Boaz was referring to as the Gula. What kind of what is this whole process of the Geula taking place there? Shiniskashan, it's mentioned there. Shaya Zeb Karshen Nami Lohit Fisa, the Knosako. That it's referring to the fact that Naomi was not able to acquire everything. Ella Misha Koina Rus, meaning he goes into an explanation. We ourselves ask the question, why should there be a connection between giving Naomi, buying from Naomi the field, and acquiring Rus? What should be the connection between the two? Person wants to buy a car, that means you have to buy his dog as well. You know, there's no connection between two things. Buying a dog is buying a dog. Buying a car is buying a car. Buying a field from Naomi is one thing. What does Rus have to be connected with the buying of the field from Naomi?
Right. Okay. So where are we now in the text?
There it says 2 lines up from the bottom of this paragraph. Aval the Rus, right? But to Rus,
2 lines up. Ava Larus, but to Ruth, lo higia la afilu kisuva. But to Ruth, he did not he did not have to give her a kisuva. Ki lo gairus, because she had not converted. So in other words, since she had not converted, then any kasuva that she might have had is not going to be considered valid. Therefore, you can't say that she was a creditor on the field.
right?
Below hatavi loan, and she did not immerse.
Right. She didn't convert, nor did she immerse. So she has no kasuba. There was no marriage there. There's no kasuba. So whatever was going on with the field and Naomi and this whole concept of the Gula really had nothing to do with Ruth at all.
V'hasada he misho avad
Meshubad,
mishubad. That is mishubad means that it's an obligation on the field.
yeah, it's collateral to Kasubas Naomi. The field was Meshuba, was the collateral for the Kasuba of Naomi.
The kasuvas Naomi. Okay, so the field was the collateral for the kasuva of Naomi.
I am Sham Barikas. Take a look over there with for the lengthy discussion.
Okay. Uma she shemem shich likasuv od bezeh. What's memshich?
And so he says, take a look there on the lengthy discussion, and also what is continued, and also what is continued to be written, mamshik, to be continued, the tov to write, ode further, bizeh al pi, the pasuk, according to the pasuk, v'yomer boyes b'yom kitnos asada. So he goes into a lot of detail of this whole process that was taking place between Boaz and the one who was going to do the redemption.
Okay, so when Boaz says, on the day that which you purchase the field from Naomi, you have to also acquire Ruth. That's related now, he's saying, to what is written about the collateral.
Yeah, that's he's explaining that there's very little connection between Ruth to the field. The Ruth has very little connection to the field at all. The field was only a connection to Naomi as collateral to her kasuba, but Ruth was out of the picture in all this.
Right.
So what is he saying that it's that we get from the continued writing?
Oh, so he's gonna say l'kach kasev akedis yitzhak, right there. So now he's gonna explain what's the consequences of these inferences we can make about the sale of the field. What is this sale of the field? What is that coming to reveal to us?
Okay, so therefore it is written in the Akedas Yitzchak concerning Ruth, the machion she chachami ha-mishaneh ha-midaresh ve'hislamod kulam. Okay, I don't know what that means.
So he says the kach kasev akedis yitzhak al Rus. There's a sefer, another commentary on Rus. The mekevan shechachmi mishnah medrash v'talmud kulam lamdu v'kandini geris. That since the chachamim of the Mishnah and the Midrashim and the Gemara, they all learn from here the dini geris, the seder kablaso, derech habedikas ladas im ulis gar shelo lishma ke'erpa, right? V'im lishma karus. So since, right, the whole basis of what we learn on how you're supposed to check and interrogate and investigate a potential convert in terms of whether or not they're going to be interested in conversion, lishma or not, that's all learned out from the exchanges and the investigations that Naomi did in terms of Ruth and Orpah.
Okay, so when it says they learn from here the laws of Gerus, what does here mean? It means the phrase where she says, "Do not entreat me to leave you."
Yeah, right. Right. So now he says, "Ze'ed nemon." That's the middle of the second line in that paragraph.
So this is a true testimony. Shelo nish tamada orpa ba'atzas hamusa. So that Orpah went out.
Right. The fact that the things we learn on how you're supposed to deal with a potential convert are learned out from the exchange that took place between Naomi and Ruth and Orpah. We see that this is a vindication of the fact that Orpah, when she went back to her people, right, she was not doing anything wrong. She simply decided, okay, this is not for me. I agree. You're trying to convince me it's not for me, and you know something? I agree, it's not for me. That's the Atzes Hamosa from the advice of her mother-in-law. She was taking the advice of her mother-in-law that becoming Jewish is not the best thing for you. And she decided based on that she'll go back.
You
But we
think
still,
yeah, I'm sorry.
we still have the problem that if the mother-in-law says, return to your gods. She said, go be a ger toshav, then I could see you saying that she didn't do anything wrong. But she says to Ruth, your sister-in-law went and returned to her gods.
Right, but she's just stating a fact. She wasn't really have to see the psukim again. Did she really suggest they return to the gods, or she just go back?
Okay, so you're saying that, but I mean, how does Naomi know to say that Orpah returned to her gods?
That's most likely what happened. We see that Naomi said when she's told Ruth herself to go bathe that night when she went to lie down next to Boaz, she told Ruth to go and cleanse herself from her avodah zarah. So she was no different than Orpah, I guess.
So she sees that Ruth returned to her gods?
She told her to bathe and cleanse herself from her avodah zarahs. Yeah, that's right. That's Rashi explains that before on that pasuk there in the fourth parak.
If you follow the whole flow all the way through, it seems that all these different stages, there's 3 times that Ruth was tried, supposedly pushed away. In other words, it seems that the culmination of everything was at the time that she went to Boaz.
Yeah, that was the end
In
of
other words,
the 3 months period. She did,
right.
as the pasuk said, she had a 3 months waiting period, right, which was from the time of the harvest of the wheat to the end of the harvest of the barley, and that was 3 months, and that's the 3 months waiting period that a ger has to undergo.
Right. So seems to consistently work that she was Megayer very late in Megillus Rus. That nothing happened in Moab, on the way to Moab, when she first got there. It all seems to work when you say that that all that was a process that wasn't completed until she married Boaz.
Right.
I mean, it seems to work with the Pesukim.
Yeah, so far so good. It's not a unusual approach. So then he says here, let's see where it was. Is it here? Okay. So now we're here. Right. Shalom is Gair Rus Adat. That Rus has not been misgayer up until now. Up until now, Rus has not been misgayer.
Right. So what is her connection to anything? If she was not misgayer, so what's her connection to anybody having to marry her? Why was she put in the package deal?
That we still haven't. We don't have an answer to that yet. Exactly why. But, you're right. That hasn't really been addressed.
When it says now, when exactly is it referring to?
Before now, meaning before now. Shalom is Gaia Rus Adata, and Rus had not been converted before this.
Before what?
the dialogue between Naomi and Ruth when they're approaching Eretz Israel.
Where she says, entreat me not to leave you.
Right.
Okay. So that means that since she had not been misgayer, then that means that she was not married.
Right. Right.
Okay. And what is this abbreviation?
Ukemoshe kasev miber ha-Akedis Yitzhak, and not as it is written in the explanation of the Sefer Akedis Yitzhak. La'acher michain, it was afterwards, meaning after this exchange, right? I mean, it was the conversion must have taken place after these dialogues between Naomi and Orpah and Ruth.
Right.
Ki bekeshet Ruth mi Boaz. Since the connection between Ruth and Boaz, bilashon in the phrase ki goal ata, when you redeem, nir'eh de habe mipnei ki haya ha-menahag b'Yisrael, that we see dehava mipnei, that she is before him.
Right, the Bikashis Ruth Boaz, that the request that Ruth made from Boaz Belushin by saying Ki Golata, you're the Redeemer, right? Nira, it appears that who make Ki Haya Minig B'Israel. This happened to be the prevailing custom amongst the Jews, that what Ki Kasher Mitzvah Satorah Yibam Kain that it was a custom, a prevailing custom in those times, just as there was in the Torah a mitzvah of Yibum, there would be a custom that the relatives of someone who died would marry the wife in order to bring forth offspring from him in some way or another. But it was simply a custom. It was not by any means an obligation of Ibum. That was the prevailing custom. We saw that, right?
So there is a mystical factor in Yibum, that there's some kind of a connection between the brother, such that the soul of the child has a connection to the father that passed away.
Right.
So in this case, when we have a relative, are we saying that same mystical factor exists or not?
Well, I'm not sure if it exists or not, but there was a custom which was based upon the model, the prototype that you see in the Torah of Yibum. So there was a similar custom that developed, that they would do something which would simulate Yibum.
Okay. Okay, so when Ruth says to Boaz, "You're the Redeemer," she is invoking that custom. That's what it's saying.
Right.
She's saying we have a custom that that you're a relative, and therefore you should redeem me.
Right.
Ki haya ki gemilas chesed. Because it was a kindness. Ayin sham, look over there. So the custom of the relative marrying the widow is a gemilas chesed.
Right, exactly.
Okay, so that answers my question. We're taking care of her.
Right. That's in contrast. I think I read that the I think the Navajo Indians, that once the husband of the widow died, if the husband dies and the widow is left by herself, so it's forbidden for anybody to feed her, to give her anything, to do anything with her, to help her. And within a week or so, she just dies, and then everybody takes everything that belonged to the husband and the wife, and it becomes public property. And that's how they do away with widows in the Pueblo civilization there.
Oh, so that kills the theory that the Indians are from the lost tribe. Right.
Yeah.
We're done with that. Okay, let me cross that off my list here.
Okay. I guess, yeah, that might be. So, but you see that, no, that's we understood
It
that.
was a form of what do you call it? In other words, instead of everybody donating to help a widow pay her rent and give her food or give her money for food, so someone married her, and then she would be in his house, second wife, third wife, whatever, and it would be to come out to the same thing. He's supporting her.
Right, right, and because, but again, this is only if she had no children. If she had no children, so then the obligation would fall on the children in some way to take care of the mother that's widowed, right?
Right.
But if there's no children, there's no father, like Naomi. Naomi was left destitute all by herself.
But
Yeah.
that leaves the question of what about a young widow who has small children? So now Yibum doesn't take effect, but still a family member could take her in as a wife in a way of supporting her.
Yeah, well, yeah, definitely. So it'd still be, in terms of the Gemilas Chasadim, the kindness involved, it would still be a custom that would be perhaps incumbent upon the family members to take her in and their family in. True enough.
Ella, the tzadi ayin al ha'akedas Yitzchak bezeh. What is the tzadi ayin?
That the Tzurich Ian, right? Tzurich Ian, right? Ella did Tzurich Ian, it requires further analysis ala Akedis Yitzchak on the Sefer Akedis Yaakov bezeh. Why? What's the problem?
The machion.
The machivan, that's because that since.
That because since she maskim bit tokef sharus. What is maskim bit tokef?
That the mechavan shemaskim betoikef sherus va'arpalonis gairu, since that that is agreeable. Betoikef he's definitely agreeable, or that Rus and Orpalonis gairu, that they had not yet converted lifnei kain klal, they had not yet converted before this at all. Because of Behedjan, he writes explicitly.
Okay, Ki yishbo sham ke'asher shenaim. What is yishbo?
Right, that they they sat sham, yeshvu, they sat sham share anashim, like other
Wives?
1 second. Kasa beheti yeshvu sham kasher I have to, let's try. Dayan lo shavu mos. If it was awesome, where is that? Hold on, we have to, let's take a look where that pasuk is. Um, mm, mm, uh, uh, let's see. He's quoted. He's quoting from the Sefer Yekidus Yitzchak that he said there, Yashvo Sham Kashena. He sat. He gathered there. Yeah, he gathered there, though they were for 10 years. Kasar Nashim, like they were there for like approximately 10 years. And they didn't repent from their mistakes. Mosam, right? It says it talked there about the 10 years they were with Machlon and Kilyon, right? That was in the first parak of Ruth.
Right.
That pasuk is based. It said there shunning, like it was about 10 years.
Is it fair to say that the fact that the father and the two sons died in Moab, isn't it a evidence that they were being punished for their misdeeds, such as moving from Eretz Israel, living in Moab, marrying non-Jewish women, etc.? Isn't that evidence, proof of that?
Yeah, apparently. Yeah, this pasuk that he's quoting now is the first parak, pasuk Daled. They were there for 10 years, right? They were married to Machlon and Killian for 10 years. And that had no effect upon them about wanting to convert, right? They were not interested in converting at that point.
Right. Says they married Moabite women and they lived 10 years and they died.
Okay, so that shows Hainu, that's the last line. Hainu shalom nisgayo biklal ad akre mosan. It shows that they had not converted at all until after the deaths of Machlon and Kilion.
Right. I mean, that's pretty strong evidence, no?
The Me'am Loez says Elimelech was punished at once upon coming to Moab. His sons died 10 years later for not having protested their departure and for not having returned. It doesn't say anything about marrying non-Jewish women.
Okay.
That seems odd to me. You'd think that that would be part of what they did wrong.
Could be. That all the. Yeah, in any event, you see that they hadn't, those 10 years, it didn't leave an impression upon Ruth and Orpah to convert.
Maybe not. I'm saying maybe the fact that it doesn't say anything about that is evidence that they did convert.
No, because it says below, right? It says, velo shavu ma'avosan. They did not repent from their sins. Adayin lo shavu ma'avosan. They didn't repent from their sins. So those 10 years they were living.
Who is it referring to? Ruth and Naomi or Machlon and Kilion?
Everyone. Machlon and Kilion and Orpah and Ruth.
Okay, but still, what is this word mis-o-sam? Does that mean it's an avera or it's an error?
Taken as both ways.
Because I'm just thinking maybe what it's saying is that their mistake was that they didn't return to Israel, not that they were not converted.
And I think this is referring to Ruth and Orpah right now. The focus is on Ruth for Orpah, not on Machlon v'Kilion. Hainu shelo yizgael bichlal ad achri mosan. He's saying what it means. He's saying that this means that they weren't misgayer at all until after the death of the husband.
Okay, that's clear.
Yeah. Right. Rak im chazaras Naomi la'artz nisgayer as Ruth. Only with the return of Naomi to Eretz Israel, then Ruth was misgayer. At that point, she was misgayer.
Right.
Let's do the last two lines here, and then we'll have to stop for a break.
I might get a call. I might have to take a call.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, I gotta take a call. Sorry.
All right, so I'll just finish it up. If that's did not misguide until her return with Naomi to Eretz Israel, right? There was no obligation of Ruth being referred to as the Shem Ashes Hames. V'lo shayech efo gaba klal tokef aminig l'kaka nashim kroivim hamesim. There was no, even in terms of the custom of the day, that they would take the widowed wives of relatives that had no children and would marry them as an act of kindness to the widow. That didn't apply at all to Ruth, right? Even Ruth had no relationship with anyone at that point. She hadn't been misguided up until then. Right. So then he says, as he finishes the question, Ruth ki goylata. So what's Ruth trying to tell me? What was it? He's a goyo, right?
Right, that right. Why is Ruth part of the deal?
Right. That's we're in the middle. That's the question we're in the middle of right now. Okay, we'll have to take a little break from this until tomorrow, and a few minutes until we get to the Mr. Brewers here. And Roy, you should have a good afternoon, Mirza Shem.
Okay, Roy.
And,
Roy, thank you again for that information.
That's
Yeah.
okay.
Very,
No problem.
very informative.
All right,
Okay,
then.
take care.
Okay, bye. for now.
we'll see you all soon. Take a short break.
Bye.
Okay. Or have a good afternoon. Roy.